Alright, so I just took delivery of the Insta360 GO3, the new action camera, and I thought I'd go over some of the aspects of it related to flying on FPV drones. There's a lot of videos out there on the unboxing, what do you get with it, how it operates. I'm not going to go through all that. You can go watch a lot of those videos that are done by other people. I just want to kind of go over some of the differences that are applied to us as FPV pilots. First thing I want to talk about was, everybody most likely was using an Insta360 GO2. It had this little case here. In order to get the videos quickly off of the camera, you plug in a USB cable over to your computer and you get the files off quickly. But you have to put the GO2 inside of this case to do that. The Peanut, which is the one I actually prefer, you can just snap on this connector on the back of the camera, so you don't even have to take it off of your drone. You can download the files quickly that way at about 35 megabytes per second if you're using the Pro Video mode. When it comes to the GO3, it has the camera in this, what they call the pod, and you can do the same thing as when you had it in here. You connect it up to the USB connector here and you download. It's also about 35 megabytes per second to get the information off your camera quickly. If I want to talk about some of the spec differences, we'll just got my little cheat sheet here. We can go over those things. Between the GO2 and the Peanut, 26.5 grams, 35.5 grams for this GO3. So it is physically bigger. It's not going to probably fit in any of the mounts that you have, so you'll have to come up with something else. There are two microphones now on the GO3, one in front here and one on top. So, if you've got it connected onto your pendant or whatever, it works better for blogging when you have those two microphones. For us, I'm not sure it makes too much difference. Maybe some people it will. The run time that we get with the Peanut or the GO2 is about 30 minutes. A battery life, you get about 45 with the GO3. The run time, if you're using the pod or the case to recharge, you'll get about 150 minutes versus 170 on the GO3, so a little improvement there. You only had a choice of 32 or 64 gigabyte storage with the GO2 or the Peanut. Now you can get up to 128. I ordered this 64 gigabytes because I was finding on some days I was using most of this 32, and then if I forgot to delete the files, I would end up having the camera shut off during one of the flights that I wanted to keep. So I just bumped it up. It was only, I think, another $20 to get to the next level, $20 or $30 to get to the next level. So something to consider. Now, some of the things that the Action Pod gives you, and you can probably watch other videos, it does have a built-in screen in the back here, and it also does fold up, so you can use it for blogging. So it's a much more versatile action camera setup than the GO2 or the Peanut. The screen is touch screen, and pretty much all the settings that you're going to want to change, including the manual mode for the camera settings, are very easily changeable using that touchscreen, so that's very advantageous. The one big thing I like is a lot of times when I was using these other cameras, I would get the footage back and I go, oh geez, it's too dark, or it's foggy. I had a fingerprint on the lens or whatever. Well, this thing with the Action Pod, you can actually, while it's connected on to the drone, before you take off, you can actually get a live view of what it looks like up to about 5 meters away, and you can actually see it on the screen, kind of preview what it's seeing, so you can check your angle properly, you can check the quality of the lens. That's a pretty nice advantage. The other good thing is with this pod, you can remote activate. So once these guys are separated, you can, when you turn on the Action Pod, it'll actually turn on the camera itself. So it'll remotely turn it on, turn it off. You can start record, stop record. Even if you start it and then take off, once it gets out of range, it won't stop recording. It'll just continue the whole way. You'll hear a little beep from this pod here once it's out of range, and then actually when you come back to land, you'll probably hear this pod beep again when it's back in range again, so you can shut it off manually when you land. So I think that's kind of a cool feature. Now on the GO2 or the Peanut, there was this Pro Vid mode. Basically gave you access to the full frame. So in the app or in the studio, you can go and do all the stabilization that you want, either FPV or the flow state. Now it's called free frame. It's about the same size, 2688, 2688. You get about 78, 79 megabits per second quality, either in 50 frame per second mode or 30 frame per second mode. And then just with the version I got with the 64 gigabytes, I figured it out. I'll get about 90 minutes of recording using the free frame format on the camera. So I think that's quite a bit of time, and it's pretty consistent with what you can get with the the pod up here for recharging. So anyway, I'm not going to do any flying with this. It's not going to look any too much different than it does when you're using the GO2 or the Peanut. This is supported in GyroFlow, so I would suggest, and I plan to use mostly GyroFlow for doing the stabilization after the fact. So you just download this free frame file into GyroFlow. The lens settings are all there, and you make the adjustments as you like to get the level of stabilization that you want. Alright, hope this was helpful. Have a good flight.